All right, this is Dan Meehan for Fight News Australia, and today we have the former One Championship featherweight and lightweight champion and the current Liverpool Boys High School javelin record holder. It's Martin the Situation Nguyen. Martin, how are
What's
you?
going on, man? Very well, man. Very well. Been well.
Now, I wanted to get into the javelin record actually before we get into the MMA stuff. So,
Um,
is that a piss take, or is that if not, is there a
for
story that you
real,
can
man.
share behind that?
That's 2 decades on. And yeah, pretty much my post said it all. It was athletics carnival week, and you know what? One of my friends, one of my very good friends who works at the school, he actually sent me that, and I was like, wow, do I still hold that record? Like I knew that I had it like throughout year 8 to year 12. I knew I still had it, but I didn't think that I'd still have it 2 decades on. But yeah, it was just one of those days where it was a cold morning. Yeah, it was athletics carnival week, and um, I wasn't really too interested. I'm more of a runner than anything. So yeah, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, whatever. I put my hand up, but um, javelin, shot put, all that. I was like, man, I'm going up against all the islanders. So there's no way I'm going to win this. So yeah, I was just hanging out with my friends that were in that class. I was doing that event at the time, and the teacher was like, if you're going to be around here, you can't hang around here. You got to partake in it or move on to the next station, which I think was like shot put or something. It was like right next to each other. And so we all just grabbed the javelin, and one by one we just went and they measured it, and it took about a good 10 minutes before it got to me. And then I just ran. I just didn't even have a run up, the big of a run up. I just ran and just threw it and turned around, and I was the furthest one, and it stuck. And yeah, I ended up getting just under 20 meters as a 12-year-old boy, and 2 decades on, still have it.
So that was just a one-time appearance in the javelin.
One
Yeah.
time, I only threw it once, and that's all I needed. Like, I didn't throw it two, 3 times to try to beat it. It was cold. I remember I didn't even warm up. I was just grabbed it and threw it and continued on talking. So yeah, crazy.
There you go. There you go. So maybe the right hand, the power in that right hand was just something you were born with.
Naturally, naturally.
Now back onto MMA. You've been getting your work in at Sanford MMA in Florida, which is obviously quickly becoming one of the go-to gyms in MMA these days. Now, it seems an obvious question, but how did you arrive at the decision to train over there?
I felt that pretty straightforward. I just felt that I wasn't. I was the champ in one championship. I had won 2 titles at a small gym in Australia. But in saying that, I had also lost two bantamweight belts where I could have easily, thinking about it, I could have easily won, but I just didn't have the skills to back it up. Right, so I felt that everyone else around me was getting better, and there was something I was doing something wrong. I was definitely doing something wrong. And yeah, in that time that I was questioning my skill set, I was also speaking to my good friend Angla, and he had just started with at the time it was Hard Knocks 365. Um, it was like a new start from Black Zillions, and yeah, I watched his fight and how much he had improved in that David versus Goliath fight, Angla versus Elaine. And I was like, oh wow, that was his first win underneath the gym. And from there, he was just taking out everyone in the middleweight division. I was like, oh wow. And he came over to he was in Burma, Myanmar at the time when I had just lost against Bibiano. No, sorry, I had just lost against Bellingon. So I was kind of down and recovering at the same time. I vacated the lightweight title, and yeah, he was just like, man, you should move to. He was telling me to move to America, and I was like, man, I've got it good in Australia. Why would I move to America? But he goes, okay, if you're not going to move, at least come and try before your next fight, um, like a camp, a 4 to 5 week camp. But at that time, I was like, I was questioning it a lot because I didn't. I've done all my camps throughout my whole career at home, and being away from my family, I was bound to get homesick. So yeah, he just I agreed. He came over to Australia from Burma. on the way home to America. He spent 4 or 5 days with us in Australia. We showed him around. We got comfortable, just hanging out and everything like that. And yeah, it just one thing led to another. I booked the day that he was flying out. I booked the flight over. I showed him, here's my ESTA, here's my ticket. I'm coming over. This is the day. And yeah, from there, just I wouldn't look back. I had my first training session at Hard Knocks. I was like walking in, room full of guys that I watched on TV. Like Robbie Lawler, Rashad Evans, Kamaru was preparing for his title fight against Tyron Woodley. Nick Les, just a whole bunch of guys. I'm like, oh my God, I watch you guys on TV. Now I'm training alongside you. And sure, I had to not prove myself. They obviously welcomed me in, but I had to kind of gain their respect in a sense where can this guy fight or not? And yeah, fortunately enough, it worked out for me, and I only got better from there. So yeah.
So are you just spending fight camps over there, or are you actually based in Florida now?
No. So I'm based out of Sydney. All my fight camps now come out from Florida. I figured that after I had 2 wins under the gym, I was like, if I was going to do this, I'll do this properly. I'll put all my eggs in the basket. And, every single time I fight, I would have no excuse. If I lost, you beat the best mud in Newman. And that was the case.
So you touched on the homesickness there as well. Like you're obviously a family man, and I'm sure training away from the distractions sort of has its advantages. But how challenging is it sort of spending that time away from home?
It's very challenging. My kids are at the stage right now where they need their dad. They need their father around, and I think this is like my 7th camp. I had like so many fights fall through, but the 7 times I've been away from them, and it's very, very challenging, very, very hard. 5 months of this year already, I've already spent over here, so it's crazy. Being away from them, I miss them like crazy every single time. Hey, like when I'm home, I kind of take it for granted. I don't, but I do. Where I'm with them every day, and it's another day, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, I have to fly out. I'm like, what the hell? Where did time go? Like, time just slips away so fast. So, yeah, I came back over here, and I was like, man, I'm homesick. I miss my kids. Like, throughout the whole time of lockdown, when they started the lockdown, I was still like exercising with them. We all bikes, and I was like bike riding with my kids, and we would hit like 30-kilometer rides, and I was like, man, these guys are like very inspiring. They actually push on, and I wanted to be around them. And they're at that stage where this is the best stage. This is the way they're transitioning from kids to teenagers now. So very, very challenging every single time I come over here. But as the weeks go on, when I'm over here, Angla makes me feel at home, obviously, when I stay with him. And it's always like a good family vibe here. And I speak to my wife on a daily basis, and she's very encouraging. And yeah, got a good support network around me, man.
Yeah, it's important. So how does the sort of standard of training differ over in the US to what you would get in Australia?
Australia, to be honest, Australia has very, very good training, but in saying that, you'd have to travel one place to another place and to another place and up and down the coast just to get very, very good training and specific training. The only downfall about Australian training is there's just so much like gym politics. So it's always like our gym versus your gym, and we're better than you. Like, okay, you've got a good facility, but this gym has better fighters and they've got nothing. And there's always a lot of gym politics in Australia, and I'm not all about politics. I just want to get better, right? And in America, here at Sanford, everything is under one roof, from recovery to the strength conditioning to the training itself, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu program, the striking program. Everything is under one roof. So, every day it's like you're going to one place and you're getting the best training, and you're going home, eat, sleep, train, basically.
Yeah. And when you're in a room full of killers like that, do you sort of do they sort of group you with people around your weight, or do you sort of work with get to move around with all the sort of the big names there?
Look, unlike there's a lot of gyms in America that I've heard of. I've never really trained anywhere else but Hard Knocks and Sanford. But a lot of people who have crossed over to Sanford have told me that there's a lot of like group trainings, like the countries they stick together because no one really speaks English. So Brazilians stick with Brazilians, the Russians sticks with Russians, Americans train together, and then you got your occasional people that just do the all around training. But at Sanford, it's literally we don't have that. We have it's literally one big family. The heavyweights train with the flyweights. We're all together under one roof. Obviously, you partner up with people your own weight and own size, so injuries don't happen. But in terms of the training itself, everyone's doing the same thing.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, you can't give away too much, but can we expect any sort of stylistic changes as a result of your sort of training over there?
Yeah. So other than my last fight, I feel like my performances have been forever changing. So like always getting better and better. I came over here with a better mindset. I came over here with a different mindset. Sorry, that forced me to get better and not think that I like better than what I am. And so in saying that, I've just been working on every single aspect, my weaknesses, back to basics, my movements, my counters, back to what won me the title, all that basic hard work. And so come this next fight, man, it's just go do what I do best, basically. Go with the flow.
Yeah. And you touched on your last fight there. It was obviously a title fight against Tan Le. Now, that one was it was probably a fight that was going well until it wasn't really. So how do you reflect on that one?
How I reflect on that fight, I lost to myself. Sure, he did win, and sure he did do good, and he's a great fighter. But I felt that I kind of lost to myself, and I lost to myself during fight week. It wasn't the fight itself. Mentally, everything got to me. Physically, I just didn't want to be there. I just did things that I was just like, I never do this. Like, why do I need to do it? And everything just went out the window. And when it came to fight time, I just wanted to hurt the guy. I didn't really care about win, lose, or draw. I just wanted the guy to go in there and hurt him. So I came to fight, regardless of all the hard work I had put in throughout the 8-week camp that I had here. Perfect camp. Couldn't ask for anything better. All that went out the window fight week. Some things happened, and I wouldn't go further into it. But yeah, I just wasn't happy, and I just wanted to get it over and done with and go home. And ultimately, cost me my title. But it kind of like it was a big slap in the face for myself because I know I can do better than that. And yeah, it is what it is. Good on him. He came to win. I came to fight. He got the job done, and yeah.
Assuming, of course, that you're successful on September 24th, can we expect a call out of Tan Le, or do you think you might need another win or two to sort of to get that one back?
I'm sure. I was kind of surprised that I didn't get the immediate rematch, being dominant champion 3 years running, and I was surprised that I didn't get the rematch. But ultimately, it came down to I personally think it came down to Gary Tonin and Koyomi Mashishima. If Gary had lost that fight, I would have got the rematch. Gary is on a big high now with his wins, and he kind of deserves a shot. So it is what it is. But I think this next fight will be like a title contender elimination. If I do win it, then I should get the rematch. But if not, then if I have to beat 3 or 4 more guys, I will. This is my job. I have to get paid. I want to get paid. I want to fight to get paid, and that's it.
Of course, the next fight, as you mentioned, is against Kim Jae-woong at One Revolution on September 24th. Now, I guess this is probably a bit of a painful memory, but you originally booked opposite Kim back in April, and of course the fight was scuppered due to a brush with a COVID case on the plane over. So how exactly did that one play out, and how frustrating was that to have it all taken away by such an innocuous incident?
Twice it happened to me. I flew over there for the TNT card, and it was close contact. They put me in quarantine. I was there for like 4 days. They released me on fight day, and we rescheduled the fight for the next TNT card, which was 2 weeks later. So instead of flying back to Australia, had plans. I had everything planned for my family to go away on holidays. We had to postpone it for 2 weeks. I went back to Florida, did a 12-day camp, and flew back for fight week. And flying back, the guy sitting behind me had COVID, and and behind him was my coach, Chrysler. So we both went into quarantine. Our fight got cancelled again, twice in 2 weeks, whatever it is, 3 weeks, whatever it was. And very, very frustrating. It was basically 2.5 camps. And it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. It's probably like a blessing in disguise. I've got a bit more time to spend with my family, a bit more time to mentally reset, and a bit more time to get my priorities straight to come back stronger than ever.
And Singapore are sort of more or less on top of their sort of vaccination program and things like that. Are there sort of COVID protocols to go through when you get over there this time?
Yeah, so they've stepped up their protocol. You got to be vaccinated basically to enter the country. And for me, I was going to let the vaccination ride out, and just whenever everything opened up, go with the flow. I wasn't planning on getting vaccinated, but since Singapore government has used that protocol of being vaccinated to get in, it's my work. It's my only way of providing for my family. So if it means me getting the vaccination to get paid, then I would, and I did. And so as soon as I got vaccinated, as soon as I got both vaccination and my certificate, I sent it over to One Championship, and within days, I'm talking about maybe 2 days at most, I got a fight offer, and that was it.
That was all worth it then. So how far in advance do you head over to Singapore now?
So we usually get there maybe 5 days before the event, 6 days before the event. I think it's 5 days, sorry. Event's on Friday, we get there on Sunday morning. So yeah, they don't usually keep you there for long. It's usually just there, your 3 days of acclimating and photo shoots and all the protocols, and then you weigh in, and the next day you fight, and then next day after that you're out.
Yeah. And so the good news after all that sort of disappointment is that you get another chance to get your hands on Kim at One Revolution. Now, we know that Kim's a finisher like yourself. So how do you think you guys match up?
Stylistically, it's one of the fights that you see that would make you sit on the edge of your seats. It's he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He called me out. He did whatever he had to do to get the fight. But ultimately, I don't think he's on my level. But come fight night, I'll show him that, and I'll give him a fight to remember.
Absolutely, and with a nickname like the Fighting God, he has no choice but to be a formidable opponent, really, does he?
Definitely.
Now, we know that the weigh-ins and hydration tests are a little bit different over there in One Championship. So how do you go about it weight-wise? Do you sort of cut anything, or do you sort of try and hover around your fighting weight?
So usually, every single time I come over here, I get told off for being underweight. And for me, underweight for these guys here in America is like basically maybe 2 pounds over the top of what you walk around, weigh in at. But me, as of right now, I'm 156, which is what I have to weigh in at One Championship. And I've been like this for the last maybe week now. So I've been on weight practically this whole camp. I'm meant to be walking around at 73 kilos, 74 kilos apparently, and cut the rest during fight week. But for me, ultimately, I don't want that stress come fight week. So I always walk around on weight, no matter what. This time around, I've been eating much cleaner than I have been with all my other camps, and everything that I've been eating has been portioned and just cooked well. So I'm pretty lucky that I am walking around on weight, feeling great, waking up, not sore, amazing, and I'm ready to go.
The main event at One Revolution features the current lightweight champion, Christian Lee, who's a rising star that you've actually got beaten not once, but twice. So I know you're probably focused on reclaiming the featherweight belt at this stage, but is a third fight with Christian something that's on your radar down the track?
If he wants that fight, he knows where to find me. I'm not going up and giving him an advantage, 7 kilo advantage at lightweight. I beat him at featherweight. He can come back down to redeem himself.
There you go. Now, you're a two-weight champion in a huge promotion in one championship, and we touched on this off air, but you're a big star over in Asia and sort of the relative unknown when you come back home. You haven't even got a Wikipedia page, which is incredible to me. But one championship is.
Personally told me that this year.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, one championship it's close to home and it's in the right time zone. So, I mean, what do you think it would take for one to break into the Australian market?
To have an event in Australia. That's the main thing, the moment they have an event in Australia, I'm pretty sure with the names we have at one championship, it would open a lot of eyes, open a lot of, just the MMA fans will be completely drawn to it. Right now, they're throwing big cards, but all these cards are happening in Singapore where the time difference and everything like that, people they don't get it half the time. And they miss the event and they're watching replays on their Facebook page or on their Instagram page. So if they want a huge Australian backing, I'd say have an Australian event. There's no other way.
Does it look like that one's on the cards? Is there any talk around the water cooler on a potential event in Australia?
Man, I've been asking for the last 5 years, to be honest. But I'm sure it will happen. One day it will happen. And when it does happen, I'm sure it'll be huge.
Absolutely. Now, I always have to ask this one when fighters compete overseas, but what are you going to do for 2 weeks in hotel quarantine?
Jesus Christ. This will be my 3rd quarantine. Probably game. I brought my laptop with me, so I'm just probably going to game, eat, sleep, wake up, game again, watch a few movies, Netflix. Last time that week when we quarantined, my coach and I, we got a treadmill, and every day I ran religiously. But yeah, I was just like, man, I'm never running a day in my life again. And then as soon as I get over to Florida, I'm running on the road already. So it's crazy. But yeah, I'll probably get an exercise equipment. Maybe not a treadmill, maybe a bike or something. But I try to stay relatively fit.
Absolutely. Now, Martin, before I let you go, do you have any sponsors or anyone you'd like to shout out? I'll hand the reins over to you.
No, I just want to give a huge thank you to my team, my coaches, everyone who's helped me at the gym, and my brother Angla and his family, and the people around us. I want to thank my wife, being huge support. Without her, none of this would occur. So obviously, she's my number one priority. But yeah, that's all the other guys, man. They come with the package. I know who they are.
Absolutely. Well, Martin, thank you so much for stopping by and all the best at One Revolution.
Cheers, Dan.